Hey. Oh, good afternoon, everybody. You got Will here today. We've got one pre-submitted question, but I don't see that individual in the lobby yet. So if you've got questions, please let me know. You can use chat, raise hand, or Q&A. Oh, there's Bug. All right, let me dig up this question. Chris, I just unmuted you. Where's this question? I'd like to be able to select a row from a report and display additional details about that record in a form, preferably or tile. Aha, right.
I figured out a way of doing this, but let's just see what you say the best way to do it is.
Well, you can actually look an example under, they might have moved this. Let me check. They haven't moved it. If you look at like this is what we do right now for the CSS page.
Oh,
You want
interesting.
this, right? So if you were
Yeah,
to
what's
look,
that's not a form, is it? It's like
it
a
is.
tile.
No, it's a form. It's a
It
form with
is.
the outcome path
Okay.
button hidden.
Yeah.
So if I come in here and I can see the page, not document generator, CSS document details, here's a report and here's a flow run part. And
Yeah.
inside of this flow run part is a form.
Yeah.
And in this form, we're using, I guess, document viewer with the document ID passed in. The document ID is a flow input named current document ID.
Yeah.
And then in here, I don't think we're doing anything special except on the button, we are doing behavior, initially visible false. So the outcome button never
Yeah.
shows. And if I look at the page setup,
I had to put an active form flow on there, I think, to fetch the data to display in the form, I thought. But let's see.
shouldn't need to. And we look here. So what we're doing is on this piece, we've got a behavior refresh on report row selection is set to true.
Yep.
And then there's a little bit of hidden magic here. So again, if we look at this and we look at, we created a string input here called current document ID. We set this to refresh on report change. And if I look at this report, I should then have document ID is send filter change event with the input name of the flow run part.
Yeah.
So it's like you're sending a filter change to a child report.
Okay. Yeah.
But that
See.
filter change
Yep.
is the input on the flow run part, and the flow run part is now listening for a value change when the on report row selection is set.
Okay. That's definitely not how I did it. Okay. Interesting. But that's good to know that you can use that. I mean, that was one of the things I tried or was messing with was using that report filter change thing. I mean, I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if that would only interact with another report, but you're saying it'll interact with the flow run part as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this and just look at it. You have this as well, so if you want to review it on your
Yeah.
local. But
Yeah.
this is exactly what the view we're doing with to make the CSS document viewer function. So, and it's just we're passing a document ID. These are added as documents, and it's just using a document viewer to show the thing.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
You bet, sir. All right, here's a question from Peyton. I'm gonna put this in our chat, and I unmuted you, Peyton. Let me see here. Is there a way to dynamically convert rows of data returned from a data repeater to columns?
Well, by columns, I mean like variables.
Variables. Let me just finish reading this. Sorry. The data repeater will return data with a row number and a value. They can be from one of 3 form input types: text, number, checkbox. I want the row number to be set as a variable name and the filled value to become the variable value. Oh, this is like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a data repeater that is essentially being dynamically created with questions, and each of those questions, the users are going to pre-specify what that field input type is, so
Mm-hmm.
checkbox, text box, number,
Okay.
and then so on the output, I need to get the value that it is actually filled that they specified and convert that into a column so that I can
Mm-hmm.
then compare it to a truth table.
Before I try to help you with this, are you familiar with our dynamic questionnaire project in the App Store? Does
I am not.
it sounds very, very similar to this. Can I show this to you really quick before I answer your question?
Yeah.
Because this might help out a lot. Oh crap. Ooh, I can't install this, can I? I'm on version 9. Shoot. Bear with me just a second. Let me get on. We've got a dynamic questionnaire project that lets you build up these types of experiences very
Yeah.
easily.
And I have it working, but it's just limited to a certain number of questions at the moment
Hmm. Yeah,
because
there's
yeah,
this. Yeah. So you have a repeater comes out, and
yeah. So it'll be a question on each row of the data repeater, and then the input is in a vertical stack, and we're using
mhm,
um, flow run part to filter to the correct form input type in the vertical
mhm.
stack.
And so and then you need to figure out if they've set it as a which question type that they've
Ye-
selected.
Yeah, and then just get that converted into an actual variable that can be compared against the truth table.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to do something. I can't, I wish I could. I'm on V9, and so I can't actually install this. I would really recommend you check out the dynamic questionnaire application. There's a lot, this can get hairy, so it may not help you exactly with the build, especially given where you're at in your, like in the build stage. Um, there's a concept called a mixed type repeater that allows you to do this type of thing. It's still a bit of work to get it set up, which is why we have this project. But it's purpose built to do these like repeater controls with dynamic sort of repeater um, individual repeater like content or something. Couple things to explore there. But I
Okay.
think if you've got a repeater and you're using like visibility rules and other things to hide and show content on the repeater, then where is my local? All right. Oh man, actually, am I still on V4? I am.
Oh, it's a little different.
Yeah, sorry. This is pretty funny. I was looking for something in an old version, and I had to get. I forgot. It's been a while since I've done one of these lunch and learns. It's been a while. I got all the way down to like 4.8 to find this thing I was looking for. But I know Vitali's on. Hey, Vitali, look at this, Vitali. When was the last time you saw this thing? This is version 4 of decisions. Anyways, let me go back to UX test and let me create a project to work in. Will test 3. And yeah, okay. You can ignore some of this user interface. I think what you're going to have to do is some kind of loop. So your data repeater is going to come into it, be a list that comes out, right?
Yeah.
I think what you need to do is like for each that list, and then you're going to probably do something. You could maybe a string match step might work here, where you do like a string match step, and then you would say like checkbox or string or drop down list, and then you would go to an add item to list step. And then based on like if it's a checkbox, you come here and maybe hard code selection and then steal value from the item out of your for each. And then you would loop back and you would do some version of this like this as you move through all of these, kind of coming back to the for each step. And then exit. And that way you can do a cast. You can kind of move from the data repeater object to this new object type. So likely what you need is like a flow structure or some other object. Golly, this is hard to read. Some other object that you would map to inside of this loop. And then coming out of this other side of the for each step, you'd have like something that maybe has two properties, right? Question type and then question value. And that way you can do the conversion from the repeater object type to this other type that you might need.
Okay.
Does this make any sense?
That helps a little bit, but at the same time, that's still kind of getting it into a list instead of like an actual individual variable.
Well, you can iterate through a truth table, right? Like you can have the for each step let you run each one through a truth table. You can put the truth table inside of your for each loop if you needed to.
Yeah, it's just the truth table is dependent on that it being like row 1, row 2, row 3.
You actually, oh, it's the index of it that matters.
Yeah.
Then you can use index. We have index steps. You can get item by index. So if it's a hard-coded set of questions, theoretically you could use 3 get item by index steps and just set them from 0, 1, or 2, and then pass the list in, and then one of those items comes out the other end here because you set its type. So you could do some kind of thing like this where you might do this pattern a few times. You do like a
Okay, but you'd still have to do it for the number of questions that it could potentially be, or the potential number of rows.
Yes, if otherwise you can do that with a for each. Like what is the I was proposing this because it sounded like you have a static number of questions in your thing.
No, that will change.
So the user configures the questions themselves?
Yes.
Okay. And then
currently I just have it configured to 8 and I'm just doing a bunch of if statements, but
so you're definitely going to need to loop through that collection some way.
Yes, which that's what I'm currently doing. Basically what you have there, except just if statements instead of add out into list and string match and all that.
Okay, and so like what's the relevance of the index to the question if the question list is dynamic?
Basically they'll have to input it in a certain way, and then basically that truth table is going to allow them to get a calculation off of their inputs, and they're just going to have to set it up to match up what they set the questions to. So they'll be able to configure the truth table and the question list.
Now you could create an integer property in your truth table, right? And then you could use the index that comes out of the for each as that. So like row 1 can only return true for index 0, and it will return false. That might be one way to bind the question in the order of the question together in the truth table.
Okay.
Because like you could just in your truth table, if you created a truth table and then you added like an input data here, and you would say like, I don't know, question something, right? And then you would put like your index of question, and then you named this, or you gave this like an integer, and then first thing you did was put index of question, and then you would say equals, and then this is 0, right? And you'd say 1. And then you could write your rules, and this can only return true right? If the index is 0. So it would run for every question, but only return true if index was 0. And then you would say, question something, equals as well, right? XYZ, hello, and then world.
Yeah, you have to have the combination of all, like, however many questions determines what the output is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like it has to be horizontal rather than vertical like that.
Mm. Are you like trying to derive like where to go next? Like if they answer these two questions, yes, then you need to go this way. If they answer this question and that question, go this way.
Uh, it doesn't change where it goes, it changes what the calculation does.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they answered Q1, Q2, Q3 all false and Q4 is true, then the output's going to be this, but
Mm-hmm.
would vary depending on their answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this sounds um would you mind shooting me like a slide? I'd love to get someone to probably maybe review this with you like on a screen share, which I'm not really able to do here.
Hmm?
I'd love to get someone maybe from the training team to try to, or the time and materials team to maybe help out. Could you um, message me your email so I could have someone reach out and then review this with you? This is sounds like there's a lot, and
Yes,
got it. Okay, I'm gonna ask Tony to set something up for us, or maybe with you and the training team,
perfect.
um, so that we can review that with you. I do think it's worth. I really do think looking at dynamic questionnaire is worth a look as well. I'd love to at least get you a demo of that, if not have someone try to walk through this and help you using a truth table to check the output of the form when you have users configuring your forms. Sounds like it might be a tough pattern to grow with.
Yeah,
Um, so let me
that's why I was trying to see if there's a dynamic way to do it. Otherwise, it's very manual. If then, if then, if then.
right, exactly. Yeah, so review questionnaire build with Peyton. Yeah, I'm gonna have Tony reach set something up. Tony's your customer success manager. See
Perfect.
if we can like get a call schedule with a training or like a one of our T&M guys and see if they can walk through this and offer some more specific tactical advice for you.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Okay, you bet. Happy to help. All right, and then we've got hey Tung, how are you? Um, For flow execution extension data structure, can I see high-level DB diagrams surrounding this data structure for report? Secondly, is there a sub-data structure inside the flow execution extension? The data is serialized. Is there a way to get the raw data at all? Okay. Bear with me just a second here. All right, so you want to look, all right, so Tung, you want to see you want to understand the database table relationship for flow execution extensions? We can talk through that. let's go ahead and let me go create one really quick. So I'm gonna go create a flow execution extension. There's 3 tables here. Let's create a flow execution extension. I'll call this fee test 1. I'll give it a single string input. And then what I'm going to do is create a flow so I can create one of them. And I'm going to put a setup process folder here. And on the setup process folder, I'm going to pick my current folder, put some garbage text in here. And then I'm going to select use extension data, and I'm going to use this. Is this right? Yeah. All right. And then going to, what's so wrong with this? Build data. Okay. And then I'm just going to debug this flow one time. Okay, great. So now let me duplicate my tab and we can show what this looks like. So if I come and what I want to do is go to the query editor. So yours is going to be under right click action under other. But I'm going to go to the query editor here and I'm going to find my data type. Fee test. There it is. That's my data type here. The one I just created. If I look at the properties, I've got some default properties in string 1. So this thing, this is kind of, so there's 3 tables here. There's entity folder, and entity folder inner joins or inner join the flow tracking folder data table, and that those join on extension ID. And I always forget. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh, okay, let's try that again. Sorry, that was ridiculous. Okay, great. And then I always forget this one. So let me search for this thing. Flow tracking folder data. It's flow tracking extension ID. And then now we're going to interjoin that table I found. Or what did I say? Fee test. Yeah, and then I'm going to interjoin this. So let me insert table name as fee, and I'm going to join fee.id equals the flow tracking, and it's going to be flow execution. Oh man, I just forgot it. Dang it. Flow tracking, it's flow tracking extension ID. Flow tracking extension ID. That should give me, not tacking. Yeah, and then that should give me the thing that I just created. Those are the 3. That's how you can get all the table structure for a flow execution extension. Does that make sense? Is that part of the question you're asking?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. And also entity assignment gave me some additional information. I just wasn't sure if that all there are. Because building the report with so many parameters is difficult. Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay. Is that the answer that helped? Did that query that I just pasted in the chat, that gives you what you want?
Yes. And the
Oh,
second
okay.
one is on the sub data structure. It just came out as a long, stringy something,
Yeah.
not the real data. Is there a way to get to the raw data?
Not likely. So what you probably have is if you edit your data type, you can see this. If I create a thing here called string list, and I create a string list, I'm going to get a validation that tells me the data type is system string is going to be binary serialized. What this means is that decisions can't handle this for you in the database directly. It needs to serialize this and then do the deserialization when you access it from the flow. So if I were to create this, I'm just going to get a binary field in the database. I can't access the raw data. I need to go through a flow or a decisions report or some other decisions component to access that data. And there's a few ways you can get this type of warning to show up. Almost always it's a list object as a property on a type.
Okay. Yes. All right. What can we say? Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. All right, and then we got Chris again. Go ahead, Chris. Reason why I couldn't use a method you described for the whole form-based detail of a line item report. I need to display on the form data that wasn't a primitive in the data structure supplying data for the report. Just
Yeah,
pass
the
in its ID.
database.
Yeah,
so
pass in its ID and fetch it.
okay, so when I fetched it,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so pass in this ID and fetch it. That's where I had to use an active form flow.
That sounds, you shouldn't. I
I tried
see.
to do my fetch on the on the report viewer.
Mhm.
You can do a selected line item flow. And I tried to do the fetch within that, but what would happen is the form would refresh as soon as I selected a line item before it could complete the fetch. And so it was like, so that wasn't working. Active form flow is the only thing I was able to make work, and maybe that's fine.
It should be fine, but it shouldn't need it, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's just a extra flow that's there, but I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. But you
Thinking
should
about
be able
starting
to
by
do
the
the
flow.
fetch in the parent flow of the form that you're running in the flow run part,
Yeah,
ideally.
that didn't work for me. I don't know why. Maybe, but okay, you don't need to demo it. And then the other question I had was if I got a simple database structure with a bunch of data already stored in it, and then I decide to add a field to that structure,
Mm-hmm.
am I going to lose my
Mm-mm.
data? Okay, it's safe to do that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the worst that can happen is you get like a backup or a shadow table. And you'll see and that's where if you change the data type of one of your columns that has
Yeah,
data in it.
I won't do that. It would be add an additional
No,
column. Okay.
won't affect anything at all. You'll just have a
Okay.
bunch of null rows for that
Yep.
value.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's super safe to do.
Yep. Okay.
All right, and then we got a question here from Elon. Now, we don't usually take I'll probably ask a training person to reach out to you because we don't usually help with training on these calls. On new decisions in the process of completing my initial product training, I'm having trouble completing copy items to list task in the Flow Design Challenge 1. I've placed a convert string to int32 in the add item to list step, and I've changed the value of the new list. I don't know which one is this. Can you share with me the URL of your training instance, Elon?
Yeah, I can do that.
And then I can open it up and we can look at it really quick.
Okay.
If you just copy that URL out and just shoot it in the chat here really quick, I can log in and look at it really
Okay.
quick.
Did you get it?
There it goes. Yep. Okay, copy items to list. Is this the one you're in?
Yes.
All right. For those of you that aren't aware, this is our product training. To copy the number from a list of string to a list of integers, the steps for each element. Create a list of numbers by using create data step. Iterate over the initial list of strings using a for each step and add an item to list step to add the item to the list created earlier using the create data step. The end step is expecting a copied list and array. So map the list to the end step. Let's see here. I'm going to break your lock here, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Create data. Okay. So we got some validation issues. So what's the data type here? Copied list is int32. You're creating a list of int32. Okay, new list is change value, new list. That looks right. What's wrong with this thing? Another step outputs item, but has declared it of a different type. Is that true? Where's item at? Oh, you're changing value of item. I see. On your step, you need to change value of copied list, not item. This is a single item.
Okay, so when I tried to do that, it was still giving me
So that probably gets rid of all your validations there.
but then
Go ahead.
oh, sorry, continue.
Oh, there's no unit tests on this one. It's unfortunate. Let me just save this and let's see what happens. Okay, so then we probably changed something on the output, or maybe we didn't map to the output. Yeah, and then you don't have a map, and then you're mapping item also. So again, change this now to copied list. That
Okay.
should work, but I don't know why you don't have any unit tests. I shouldn't be just doing this. Oh, that's an empty array. Okay. You're mapping an item, convert string to int32, copied list. You're mapping item type. Oh, I see. This should be your input list. You have a list, initial list. You're going to iterate initial list, not copied list. You're looping initial list here and then creating copied list here and then passing copied list out on your end step. That's kind of I think the thing you're missing there. I'm going to back out here and let you make those changes, but
Okay.
that's what's wrong there.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna try that.
Okay. All right. Any other question? I don't see any other questions today. So if you guys have anything, please let me know.
Yeah, we just got a question in the Q&A.
Oh, hello. I have a question about changing a button into an image. Okay. Go ahead, Jace.
Hi, yeah, I have like a static button to download an attached PDF,
Okay.
and we have in our design the button as just a download icon.
Okay.
And we have the CSS for that, but I wasn't seeing an easy way to just make a button a picture, so I just wanted to check.
It's probably a different type of button. It's probably the thing you're using is probably it could be a few things. It might be a sub dialog button. It's hard to say.
Yeah, let me check. I can
God bless. At least. Okay, yeah. So it might be a sub dialog button. in which case there's a subdialog button image or subdialog image button, which
Mhm.
is the same thing, but you use an image. A regular button, if you just search button, like an outcome path button, there's also an image button. Image button. Or it could be an event button, probably one of those three options, and there's an event image. So
And-
yeah.
Okay. Would the event be able to download a PDF?
It can run an action, so
Okay.
yes. Like it can initiate like a flow to run. It's probably, I mean, do you see like a pop-up show up over your form with a download control?
I'm trying to, I have a silly question. I have a checkpoint that saves it. How do I go back to a
Revert to a checkpoint? Yeah, you want to, oh God, where, is it not in the editor? Oh, that's silly. Sorry, I'm gonna save this. If you go to your form in the Designer Studio, you can definitely get through it here. Right click, and
Okay.
there is revert to version. And yours is not going to be exactly where mine's at because I'm on 9. But if you click revert to version, you should see a view like this with your checkpoint name in there, and you can click it and click revert, and it'll roll back to it.
Mm,
You actually clicked create checkpoint like and named it when you did it.
yeah.
Yeah, so like
Would it be in the
here,
it would be like in
yeah.
the main menu right when I right click, or is it hidden under something else?
It's going to be hidden under history documentation, maybe.
Oh, okay. I see
Or
open view, add comment, add document, add external link.
okay, so open view.
Oh,
Like-
wait, I see under manage, revert to version.
Yeah, there you go. We've been moving a lot of these actions around, so my thing's quite different than yours right now.
I can't. It's like I can't see. The little window is cutting off most of the text. And I can't like scroll or make it
Oh,
bigger.
then do this. Right click it, go to history, open view. You should get a view similar to what's on my screen now.
Okay.
And inside of here, you should have older versions, and your checkpoint should be in this report view on the right-hand side, and you should be able to right click and restore from backup on that thing.
Okay. Dang, I don't know. Oh. Okay, actually, I did some work on this today, and I don't want to undo it. It would be easier to just redo the button, I think. Sorry
No worries.
to go off on a
Sure.
side tangent. Yeah, so if can I just have the name of the tools one more time and then I can go.
Yeah, it's either a normal button, just search button and you'll see it.
Mhm.
It's a sub dialog or an event button. Either way, those are 3 button types, and they've all got a separate control, which is an image control, right? And so versus just a text-based button, you can replace it with a button, with an image button of one of those 3 types.
So every type of button has an image button type. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so it's definitely possible then.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry to go off on a weird way, but
No worries. Happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay. What other questions do we have today from anybody? Actually got 40 minutes in. That's great.
Mate.
You got a question, buddy? Or are you just saying you appreciate me?
No, I'm saying I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow, shipmate.
Oh, I won't be here. Who's going to be here tomorrow? Greg. Well, hopefully someone will be helping Greg. But yeah, so.
I'm in it submerged. You gonna be there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a great, leave you with this wonderful view of V4 as we exit. Appreciate the questions today. Talk to y'all soon.